that's a cool shot. I'm gonna make that a thumbnail if I can find it. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in the right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. The murderer, you contacted Lana at the prosecution's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. Objection! You're forgetting, Mr. Wright. The victim's body was discovered in the prosecution's office parking lot. How did you manage to move it there? The police department the entire day, you know. Everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Won't accept me, it seems. Still, you're chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gaunt, you left all the evidence we needed to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. Wow. I just put it together. He just had Edgeworth drive out of the building in his car. The parking stop? Miles Edgeworth? You mean... Body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. I was moved by that car. You mean I carried the victim's body? Precisely so. But wait, even you know. I didn't plan on returning to my office. The ceremony finished that day. But you did return. Tell me why. Ah! I was asked to go by Chief Gaunt, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbing, I brought this back here. So you see, what you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car! Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport that screwdriver? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to her accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to defend this outrageous accusation? Think back to the photograph Mr. Skye took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. A photo of the body being taken from the trunk! Chief Gaunt, please say something! I believe your time's up. My time's... Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're to make it in time for the early bird special. Objection! The cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier. The police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. Objection! So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed good old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? If you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Mr. Wright, do you have any concrete proof? Proof the chief murdered Detective Goodman? Not yet. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. See, Ajay? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Ajay, I'll leave the rest to you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to the junior officer in our nation. It's law enforcement agency. Objection! Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Now, you should never call your own defense to the stand, except right at this exact moment in time, now. Take that! Defendant. Miss Lana Sky? In the underground parking lot of 515 on the February 21st. Her task is to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. It's final recess for the day. 15 minutes, people can reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in... Hold on. Chief Gunn, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Are we seriously gonna let that go? Judge! 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 You're gonna let that go! You're gonna let that go, Judge! 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 What the fuck, Judge? Holy shit, Judge! You managed to stay in the game. Mr. Help Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. Sure. I'll take the place of that top naughty girl you used to work with. Looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gunn's done it again. How he always gets the upper hand. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. Risks? What do you mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. He forced her to say anything too. When I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Yeah, now I finally know what really happened. Being blackmailed by that terrible man. She did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gaunt's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the Chief told her to do. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. You know what? It is society's fault, ultimately, at the end of the day. I co-sign. I co-sign Gumshoe. I can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. You only remember because we figured it out. Why don't you wait? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Alright. Almost at the end. Almost at the end. One more trial. One more trial and we'll be all done. By the end of this, the guilty party will be determined in the murder of Bruce Goodman. Now then, will the defendant Miss Lana Sky take the stand? Miss Lana Sky, you are Chief Prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. With your testimony, Miss Sky. Remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. I'll always be your sister. Tell us about your relationship with Chief Gaunt. Gaunt and the Fabrication. I worked alongside Gaunt for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. This is true, and that means Chief Gaunt has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. She's not, I know, my own sister. Also, right, we've kind of gone way past this at this point. We're way past this. We're way past this doubting point. Time to press and try to break her, I guess. How many years exactly? Ever since I made Senior Detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years? Detective Sky were legendary partners. Personally saw them testify in numerous cases. It's been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gaunt was a respectable detective, that's why. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. Mr. Sky, you didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? A testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. end. Okay, the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. So who? That'll be your sister? Joe Dog was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. What she did was just about self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. It's all by yourself. Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. Broken Prosecutor Ward's knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? Marshall died from unfortunate accidents. That only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Doc. Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Doc was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. You found a scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Doc's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. Victim's wound? But why? Why would you do that? You, of all people, should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. When you showed up on the scene, right, was the victim's body. For your side missed it was by Chief Gaunt's desk. The body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. The reason Mr. I moved the body. The jar that shattered during the event threatened my plan. What the fuck? Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. To show that Detective Dark committed that crime. Felt it would be more expedient to move the body. First found the body, the jar was all ready. Of course, it would have been shattered to pieces. If you look at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. And Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. Apparently, the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there is more to it than that. We committed this fabrication completely alone. I'm going to present the jar and see what happens. This guy understands and how you feel. You commit, yeah, because it has Emma's written in blood. The forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered. If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention. In contradiction with your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? Testified in my quotes. Pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. That's right. You have a problem with that. Simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. The prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. This is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Ah! couldn't have written his name on a shattered jar. Your Honor, it would appear. More information needed in regards to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we are headed. Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. I like the way that Phoenix and Edgeworth bounce off each other in this finale. It feels very organic. It's a very logical end step towards the after the relationship from the previous game, or from the previous case. It's still the same game. We haven't finished the first Phoenix Wright game yet. All right, tell us more about this jar, Miss Sky. I immediately noticed the blade traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room. I didn't have time to check it out. Oh, you're right, Onyx. We still got we will probably finish soon, but we are not done yet. This is the end of the first game, the first fucking game. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. Fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. Well, how do you have them all when there was a fragment missing from the scene? At the time, she didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. There's blood traces on the jar. Elaborate on that. The jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It looks as feeble as the defense's case. Oh my god. Judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. No, if I had known, I would have gathered all of the pieces and ground them into dust. Lana, you do that for me? I just barely had time to move the body as it was. If someone had happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. Rather shocking. Be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. You really thought Dark was killed Prosecutor Marshall. You wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything but gather up the pieces. Well, there was a piece in Gaunt's safe, so... evidently she did miss something. So I'm sure I got them all. I feel like this is where the contradiction will fall apart. How could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. I was always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. I carry a bottle of emergency luminol whenever I go. Okay. If it's anything, I got every last piece. Yeah, the jar itself is again a contradiction. Feel the truth even you were unaware of. What? You found the final piece of the jar in Chief Gaunt's safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? I knew it. Well, Shouldn't she know this? Because she's been in the room the entire time and listening to this case? Shouldn't she know what we have already proven? There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. Just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped away the blood. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. She is a lying liar who lies. Executor was monitored. You were not the first person to show up on that scene. Chief Gunn got there before you did. Couldn't the defendants have missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. Pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. It makes mistakes even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Ha, can you believe that? Objection! Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jaw was already broken. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jaw. But the person discovered the scene prior to the witness. It's dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? Objection! The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gaunt arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jaw and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. That's what happened afterwards. Isn't it clear? Discovering the scene, Lana Sky believed her sister Emma had killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gaunt's aid. Lending her his aid, Gaunt helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Sky became the Chief's puppet. No, I did it on my own. Come on, Emma. No one believes this. It's over, Emma. Or Lana. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Introducing the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gaunt's trap? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, right? Miss Sky, please testify once more. But the evidence was fabricated behind your back. And Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. Miss Sky, if you will. I can't. Nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there's a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright, here we go. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor's sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gaunt help me remove the body and the sword from the sword and carry it. But if it was all really fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable, the body was impaled on the armor's sword. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. Like that. To have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you. Right, please present this picture. Okay, good to know. I thought that was evidence law book was meaningless. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. Detectives saw the crime scene like this because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I rearranged everything. Mr. Wright. The priest cut up from his vest. Could it be? Found inside Chief Gaunt's safe. What's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? Cloth had fingerprints on it. Whoever's fingerprints, that must be the real murderer. Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. As long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. So we now begin his cross-examination. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled in the suit of armor